Hello everyone, Dillykins here, and welcome to the Dillykins 2 channel. And today we actually gonna do something a little different than reactions and stuff. I'm actually gonna do a little survey quiz. If you have these things growing up, you were which? I saw this on TikTok and I was like, I think that'd be a pretty good idea for a video because I like doing surveys actually. But I'm actually will be putting the link down in the description. This is from BuzzFeed actually. So I'm just gonna go ahead and let you guys know. You guys will probably get some story about my past actually. Now I have say some things about my past throughout the series. If you guys been watching my main channel videos, actually I do talk a lot about my past actually, certain things actually, but let's get this started. Alright, let's see what we are getting. Let's start off simple. Do I have my own bedroom? Yes, always, no, never, and most of the time. As a matter of fact, throughout all of my life, I do remember that I always had my own room. So, yes. Okay. Do your childhood bedroom have a special theme like parrots, horses, something else you're obsessed with? Does having rooms colored? Because I actually have had rooms being like a certain colored, like the color that I like. I think whenever I kind of got a little bit more older into like middle school, I kind of started buying like posters, and majority of the posters was like video games posters. But it was basically just like things I liked. So I would probably say yes on this. Do you have your own mini fridge or microwave in your bedroom? Do this count like actual high school? Do this count as up to high school? Here's the thing. Whenever I move out of my parents' house, chat, whenever I was moving out of my parents to move into my grandparents, because I actually was thinking of pursuing and going to college for graphic designing and stuff, I think the number one thing that my grandparents actually bought me, like a after graduation like present or gift, was a mini fridge. We actually kept it before me and Taylor had to move back to her parents' house actually, because of like the emergencies that was going down. If you guys know the story about the house in Dillykins that we actually had to move out of the house that we were currently living in, we actually had to sell that house because it was like unlivable. It was like an unlivable state basically because what happened. And I did not really needed the mini fridge because we didn't have a storage building at the time. We did not have the space for it. This is kind of like a oof, but it says childhood, so I want to say like right after high school I was pretty much like a full grown out adult, so I would say no. Do your house have a guest room for friends, family to stay in? No, actually, we did not. The majority of like all of the rooms that we normally had was my parents' room. I have 2 sisters. They majority just share the same bedroom anyway. And there was my room, and that's basically it. So, no. What about a front porch? We did have a front porch. not a crazy like a deck porch.
Some people just know they could save hundreds
we did
on
have
car
a fun
insurance by
porch
checking
that
Allstate first. Like,
we was
you know to
able
check you have your
that
phone
actually was
first,
fenced
before
in,
the
by
cab
the way,
pulls away.
that we actually
Hey,
did
thanks,
sit outside on the nice
wait,
weather
my
when it
phone,
was
come
like
back. It's
cooking out or
pass,
grilling
credit
out
cards,
and
phone
stuff like
numbers, my
that. So
life,
yes.
come back.
Was
Checking
it
first
two
is smart.
plus
So check
stories
Allstate first for a
tall?
quote that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Savings vary. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
The majority of all, you want to hear the funny thing? Actually, all of the houses that we actually lived in was not 2 stories. The house that my parents lives in now is actually just 2 stories. I think it's because we all like grown up and kind of moved out and actually have more money. But no, all of the houses that we lived in throughout my childhood was not 2 stories. Did you have a second refrigerator in the garage, mostly for drinks? No. I'm out of fact. We did not. No. Speaking of garages, was it a 2-car garage? Trying to think of all of the houses we actually had garages. 1, 2. I think there's like only like 2 houses I remember that had a garage, but it was not 2-car. I do not know why I wanted to try to bring up the house that my parents got now. It's basically it's technically 2-car now. There's no garage, it's 1 car. Yes, if it's more than 2 cars, yes, it's a 2-car. It's just a 1 car. Do you have a trampoline in the backyard? Yes, a matter of fact, we did. We did have a trampoline in the backyard. I remember this. The funny thing is that my youngest sister got a dislocated shoulder. Actually falling off the trampoline. The trampoline at that point, when that actually happened, that the springs was started to pop off because we did jump on it a lot. That plus it was weathering, like the tarp that usually goes over the springs literally was sweat up to shreds because weather and stuff. And then the springs started rusting every single time to like a certain point. When we jump, the springs will start flying off, like once in a while. But yes, we did have a trampoline. But how's the most important question of all? Did you have a pool? What type of pool are you talking about? Underground pool or above ground pool? We always had this like those big above ground pools that had the pump. This was probably like most of the time, because sometimes we will have it, we usually trying to keep it clean, and then probably maybe we get it for 1 year, and then it will probably survive till the next year, and then after the second year, we usually trash it and then get a new one. This is a most of the time. What about a hot tub? No, actually. We did not have a hot tub. No. What about a treehouse? No. We actually never had a treehouse. Did you have a swing set or a play set in the backyard? We did have a swing set in the play set, actually. It was kind of a little bit weird because we actually had, I think it was the same one that we basically took with us from 3 different houses actually. I'm probably wrong on that, but we did have a swing set and a play set. So yes. Do you have a kitchen? Did the kitchen have an island? None of the houses that I actually lived in whenever I was growing up didn't really have an island, but we did have like that type of counter space that kind of like looped around the kind of like where the stove is at, and then like this big counter space is like right over here on this side, on the opposite side of the kitchen, with like all of the appliances are at. This counter space was capable to like you can actually like set like a bar with like the high chair stools basically. I don't think that is actually count as an island. So I do remember that the houses that we had, which basically always been like that. Like you have all of this counter space and then it loops all the way around like the sink and the stove or the oven, and then we have like the right over here. You have like the counter space. We have like drawers. We have like the dishwasher and everything like that. I don't really think that actually is called an island. I do know like the island is its own little section of like counter space with its own like support. So no. What about a walk-in pantry? No. No.
There's a new class of blockbuster drugs.
Majority of the pantry
Drugs
was just
like
like
Ozempic. They're changing bodies.
And all of a sudden, just the weight starts falling off.
I think the house that I kind of like when I was living in back when I was going to high school, it didn't really had a pantry.
The impact of these drugs from business to health.
Like we like the only thing that we actually could like
shot.
had to put like chips
now to
and
listen
like
on
cereal and
Spotify.
stuff. We actually had to put like built-in shelves just to put to store like that type of stuff in. We did have cabinets, but we didn't had a pantry period. Trying to think of the other houses that I lived in. For reference, for the people that was trying to figure out all of the other houses, we did move a lot because I did grow up in a military family. We did move around a lot. But the majority of like all of the houses I'm trying to remember that I know. I think one of them actually did have a pantry. That was like the house before we actually moved into the house that we stayed in until I graduated. It wasn't a walk-in pantry though. So no. Did my parents have a walk-in closet? No. The house that they live in now does, but they did and they did. I didn't. I had one. No. Did you and your siblings have your own bathrooms separated from your parents? Yes, we actually had, me and my sisters actually shared a bathroom, but my parents had their own bathroom. The funny thing is actually that the bathroom that me and my sisters actually shared was beach theme. That's actually a true story actually. Yes, we did had a bathroom that was separated from the parents. So yes. Did you have a bathroom with 2 sinks? No. The majority of all of the sinks I remember in each bathroom only has one, so no. Did your bedroom have its own suite bathroom? No. Did your house have a sunroom? No. The house that me and Taylor lived at before we had to like emergency like leave and had to sell the house did. But that's not like nothing for childhood though. So no. What about a movie room? No. We didn't had a home theater actually. My cousins did though, but I didn't. Did your childhood home had a built-in bar? No. No that I actually think of. What about a finished basement? We never had a basement for any of the houses we lived in. Well, except the one that me and Taylor lived in, but when I was just growing up to high school basically, none of the houses had basements. So, no. How many questions are there actually? Do your parents have their own home office? The funny thing is, most of the time that my parents actually had to use the computer is usually in the living room or on a desk in the kitchen. No matter, it's just a laptop anyway. So, no. Did your childhood home have a gym room? No. No. I'm not that. Was still a separate room just for the laundry? Does a garage count? Does a garage count? Here's the thing, like, here's the thing, like, a garage technically is a room. No matter most of the time we used the garage was just putting like our outside toys and like the lawnmower and stuff, but does that count? Does that count? I'm actually kind of curious on that. Does that count? If it has to be just a separate room just for laundry, no. That's a, may have to get back to that. Oh, we actually had to answer it. Okay. I wouldn't actually will say no, but it's a garage. Let me actually check on this. No, a garage is not a room, but it can be converted into one. The funny thing that we actually talk about converting into a room for the garage, my dad, he was
Some people
in the
just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like, you know to check you have your phone first, before the cab pulls away.
He was
No,
and,
wait, my phone,
like the
come back! It's my boarding pass, credit cards, phone numbers, my life, come back!
in the CBs
Checking first
actually.
is smart.
He
So
did
check
like
Allstate first for a
electrical
quote that could
work
save you hundreds.
the majority
You're
of
in
the
good hands with
time.
Allstate.
And I do remember
Safe and
that
subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate
he
Financial
always
Insurance Company and
talked
affiliates, Northbrook,
about
Illinois.
like renovating the garage, like part of the garage to be my room. It never happened though. The funny thing is, it never happened. So I will actually say no here. Did you have a separate room just to play in, whether that was a gaming room, a craft room, or playroom for your toys? No, the majority of those was in our bedrooms, basically. What about a separate dining room? No, it was in the kitchen. Most of the time, yes. It was just in the kitchen. The funny thing is, whenever we was growing up, we never really ate in the kitchen table. Because majority of the time, like, my parents just go and watch the news, because around the time when I'm actually recording this around 4:12, I remember, like, I kind of like got out of school probably like an hour from now, and then just playing some games, kind of got done with homework. Like, my dad will probably just got off work, because he's a self-officer. His time is 12-hour shifts. I do remember that he has to wake up like super early in the morning, had to be out by around 4, and then he comes back at 4. I want to say my mom was around not that long after we came home, and then somebody usually started be cooking, and majority of the time we kind of do eat in the kitchen table, the dining room kitchen table, but majority of the time we don't. So no, it was in the kitchen. Did your pets have their own pet room? We did not have like a own pet room, actually. I never heard of something like that, actually. Did you have a TV in your bedroom? Yes, we did. I actually had my own TV. My sisters had their own TV. We had the living room TV, and also my parents had their own TV in the bedroom. So yes. Did I have a couch in my bedroom? No. It probably wouldn't fit if I actually did. I did had a, like, the lazy boy in my chair. Lazy, like one of those recliner chairs in my bedroom. I have had one of those, but not a couch. No. Was your bed larger than a twin or a twin XL? I had a full. Yes, it was a full or queen. Yes, it was a king or larger, and no, I had a full-size bed. I do remember that I was in a twin, and then I remember that I managed to get a full around the time when I got into middle school. But I do remember that majority of the time when I was sleeping in the bed throughout high school and kind of like right after high school, it was just me anyway. I was just sleeping in a full-size bed anyway, so yes. Did you live on a cul-de-sac? I may have to check this out right quick. What is a cul-de-sac? A street or package that is closed at one end. Oh, it's I see. Kind of the subdivisions was like the rounded street. It's one of these, Chad. I did not know that was a cul-de-sac. No, we did not. Did you have a game table like ping pong, pool, or foosball? Does tabletops work? If it's just a own table, then no. But was it tabletop? Because we have tabletop ping pong and pool and foosballs. Kind of like those ones you kind of get from like maybe like a Belks or something like that for Christmas or something like that. Whenever that time of the year does come, and they come out pretty reasonable prices actually. Does that count? If it's just owned tables? No. Were there more than 2 couches in your home? Does a lab seat couch count? We did have the original couch. We had a L-shaped couch before. Well, L-shaped couch is Actually, it's just one couch anyway. It has like 2 separate parts though. We had a I do remember that we had leather ones. God, the leather ones was so bad. It was so bad. Because at the point there was like a brown color too. Chad, you guys have no idea. There was like an ugly brown color. It was more like a Berlin Aztec, like really really bright brown color.
You work hard to keep your car
we did
running
have
and your
just the
home safe,
couch,
so it
and then
only
we
makes
had
sense
the
to keep them
love
protected
couch.
with a company that has your interest at the heart of what they
And
do.
then we
That's
kind
why
of
turning
got
to Country
couches that
Financial
actually
for your
had
car and
cup
home
holders on
insurance
it.
is an easy choice.
And one
Country
of them
Financial has been
actually
providing
had
insurance and
like
protecting families like yours for 100 years. That's the kind of stability
it's
you can
like
trust.
kind of like
Our
not really like
dedicated reps
a
live
you can
and work
probably
in
call
your
it like a
communities and are
like
ready
a
to
love
connect
seat
you to
couch
get you the
actually,
insurance
like
that
you
fits
have
your
like
needs.
the
Get more
seat
from your
next to
car
me,
and
and then
home
has
insurance at
like the
countryfinancial.com.
holder that I remember like the thing like the armrest that comes up. It have like some storage and it has like cup holders, and then you have some cup holders too, and then the other side was kind of like the same material, but it wasn't like, I think it did not have the full on couch actually did not had cup holders, but I'm pretty sure that it still counts. I think it still counts. Okay, so I would probably say yes. Does a lab seat count, chat? Take it like a yes? Okay. I would say yes. Do you at least one of your crotches have recycling seats? Oh, reclining seats. Yes. The love seat did. I remember that. Does the love seat count? Both sides of the seats for that love couch did. I don't remember just the couch does. Do your refrigerator had a built-in ice maker? It did, actually. It did. I remember that. Every refrigerator I believe I had throughout my childhood had an ice maker. Was the one of the most fancy fridges with a built-in window for drinks? No. I don't think those was even a thing yet. Okay, last fridge question. Was it's a smart fridge? No. It was just a fridge. It was like kind of like a double fridge. Like once, like if I remembered, like this side was just like a refrigerator side, and then the right side was the refrigerator, and the right side was just the freezer part. But no, it was not. Did you have a kitchen have a built-in microwave? No. All of the microwaves was like on countertop, basically. Do your family own matching glass food storage containers? No, we use plastic. Yeah, that's the majority of the time. It was plastic anyway. Was your home in a gated community? No. No. Do you perhaps have its own gate? like gate, but like front gate, back gate. And the funny thing is that whenever I moved out of my parents' house, they actually managed to install a gate. Whenever I kind of moved out of high school, but the majority of the time, everything was just all opened, basically. So no. Did your parents hire professional home cleaners? No. I wish. I wish, but God, you guys actually have no idea how much yelling I remembered had to witness, and mostly for my sisters though, for cleaning the house. Some reason when I was just like a little kid, that was not my favorite chore to do, was cleaning. Like now I like things clean now, but no. Finally, did you have a central AC or heating? Yes, as a matter of fact, we did. Each house actually did. The funny thing is, each house that I actually lived in when I was a child has AC and heating, but once when I moved out, I kind of moved into houses. Well, the houses that me and Taylor did live in had an AC unit, and then it decided to explode. Not really explode, but it somehow, like, I remember I was streaming at the time. This was back when I was up on Mixer, and it was just a weekend and everything like that. If I remember, it was a weekend, and then it was just like a normal summer day, and the power went out and it went back on, and then I noticed that maybe a day or two later it got really hot, so I'm assuming that something has to be blown to a point that where the AC unit was at that house, it was inaccessible to get anyone to look at it, because it was whoever actually renovated the house at the time definitely did not know what they were doing. But the majority of these houses that I lived in and now actually have always been like windowed AC unit anyway. But yes, each house that I have grew up in has AC and heating actually.
Save money.
And finally, did you grow up AC or heating? Yes, actually. And we did grow up witch. You was absolutely rolling, and though as a kiddo you living in a fancy house straight out of a Disney Channel movie or someone dream Pinterest board. Lucky you. I don't really think that we was like witch, but we did have money without I'm pretty sure like my parents did have money though.